Today's video is a video request from the Ultimate Girlfriend, and she wanted me to do a video about, I'll put her question up on the screen now. She wanted me to do a video on losing friends and family members on your own personal level up journeys. And I think that this is a really good topic. I have spoken about this before, and I'll put that video up on the screen somewhere, and I'll put it in the cards. I'll put it in the description box as well. Ladies, please thumbs up this video for me. You know the drill by now. Click on the video, click the thumbs up, and then enjoy watching, and then comment something afterwards. So yeah, let's get into this topic. When it comes to you ladies being on your glow up journeys, you're trying to level up in terms of your appearance, you know, the venues that you go to and the people who you date, but not just that, but perhaps the company you keep. And also you've got to think about it, your personality is changing and evolving, and the things that you once liked and were interested in and that you were satisfied with are now not enough. So sometimes you can feel like you're not getting along with people who you used to be very close to, maybe your family members or your friends, and you don't want to go to the same places anymore. You don't find the same things interesting that you used to previously, if that makes sense. So what can happen is you can start bumping heads, and then friendships and relationships can start to divide and dissipate. And I have experienced this, and I think that really all of us would have to a degree by now. If you have changed considerably, you've got to imagine the person who your friends and your family members were friends with and trying to hang around is kind of not there anymore. So you are now a different person. Yes, you still have aspects of yourself that remain the same, but your opinions have probably changed. Your morals are probably different. The people you date are different. The venues that you like to go to are different. How you dress is different. Perhaps even how you speak is different. How you look is different. How you walk is different. And the things that you expect just in life now has changed. So you've got to expect to have friendships dividing and breaking up. You have got to expect it. And funnily enough, I think it's a normal thing to not expect it, because you feel like your friends will understand and perhaps even be on that journey with you, but you can't take everybody with you. And all of my relevant videos that I think will be helpful as well, I will link in the description box. One of them also being you can't take everybody with you. That was a video I did, and it's so true. You really can't. And it can be upsetting, it can be hurtful when you lose people who you maybe perhaps relied on or spent a lot of time, you know, caring about and sharing your life with, doing things with, and maybe traveling, day-to-day things, or just in general talking on the phone, just being, you know, your lives being intertwined. And when that stops happening, it can kind of hurt and feel like you've really lost someone, even though they're not gone, they're still on this earth, but you can feel like you have completely lost them. But I also want you to see the other side, which is that they have actually lost you as well, and they've kind of lost you first. So you've got to see both sides, and that will give you some perspective and help you to understand why perhaps your friends are maybe being judgmental towards you. Maybe they are being, you know, condescending because of you're wearing different things now. Maybe you're dressing more conservatively, or who knows, and they have an issue with it. It's not the norm per se for how you used to dress and how they still like to dress, and it can ignite insecurities in the other person. So you have to also understand that as well. So there are so many different factors that go into why friendships break up and don't work out once you have evolved, once you have become or started taking steps to becoming the woman who you want to be. And unfortunately, you have to be open to not being friends or not talking to certain people anymore, even family members, if they're not on the same page. Also, there's a point I want to make, which is about friendships, because certain times some of you will feel like you can't be friends with people anymore or hang out with certain family members anymore just because they don't dress the same way you do, just because they don't have the same views as you, or because they don't date in the same way as you do. If they are not being condescending or derogatory towards you, if they are not tearing you down and they're still boosting you up even though they live their lives a different way, I personally don't feel like you have to lose that friendship or you have to lose or distance yourself from that family member. I don't think that. I think that you guys can still hang out and still care about each other, and you can still love that friend, they can still love you, but you just choose to live your lives differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it starts getting negative and toxic is when they are being rude to you, they are saying backhanded compliments, they are putting you down every chance they get, they are trying to embarrass you, they are saying things like, oh, you know, you don't like to go to these places anymore, or rolling their eyes every time you've got your hair and makeup done, or saying judgmental comments and harsh things about the way that you choose to live your own life and the things that you choose to put on your own body. That is when it starts getting negative and toxic. And if that is a situation you're having, then unfortunately, yes, you're going to have to lose them because they are kind of weighing you down, and we have to keep on going, we have to keep on thriving. At that point, I would say that they just don't fit into the new mold of your life, and you also don't fit into the mold that they've had for the longest while in their own lives. You don't fit into that anymore either. So you're going to be bumping heads, and both of you are going to be feeling uncomfortable and negative around each other, and you're both going to feel like the other is judging, you know, the other. So that's another thing you have to bear in mind as well. If it's very toxic and negative, you're going to have to lose people, and that's just something that is going to happen. It doesn't have to be a completely 100% negative thing to distance yourself from family members or lose family members who don't want to have anything to do with you if they're jealous. And also with friends who are jealous as well, it's not a completely bad thing to not have a relationship with them anymore. And let me explain why. When you want to go out and you want to go to certain places, you don't want to go to the same places that they want to go to. Straight off the bat, there's some type of combat, you know, some type of combative, you know, form of opinions that can't even come together in terms of a venue. Maybe even your friends can't afford to go to the places that you can go to, or maybe they just don't want to spend their money on those types of places, or who knows. There can be so many different reasons as well. Also, another thing is when you're going out and you go out with your friends and you like to meet guys that way, if you like taking people with you, then how are your friends dressing? You know, if you're going out together, the dynamic will be completely different, and even though you're going to be dressed in a certain way, they're never going to really come over anymore when you're out with that friend who's dressing a certain way. So just taking that friend or that family member out of that dynamic changes your total evening, which your evenings add up to your life. Okay, are you going to be going out all the time and not enjoying life and living life for yourself? No, it would be silly. So if that friendship isn't working out, if that family member's relationship with you isn't working anymore, then there are positive reasons why the relationship shouldn't be forced anymore. And there are also positive things that come out of it in terms of you not having to be associated with certain people who just aren't anything like you. If you are having a really, really toxic and difficult time hanging around people, your friends, your family, who are being judgmental, horrible to you about who you have become and who you like being, then they are choosing not to grow with you. They're choosing not to support you. They're choosing to allow their jealousy to hinder your friendship. They're choosing to allow that to happen. And as much as maybe we don't want that to be the case, it is true. They are choosing to do that. And I understand why. It's a lot easier to play the victim card. It's a lot easier to play the jealousy card and be miserable and horrible. It's a lot easier to do that than it is to do what you are doing, which is turning your life around, improving yourself, dressing differently, becoming who you want to be, taking the time to do that, and the effort as well. And there is also sacrifice that goes into what we are doing on this channel. There's lots of sacrifice to it. At the end of the day, the way I see it is that the glow up journey is more about not just becoming the woman who you want to be, not just changing yourself externally, but it's a mental evolution that happens as well. And part of that mental evolution is that you want the best for yourself. I want you to see that it is a positive thing if you have lost bad friendships that have become a negative space for you since you have evolved yourself. People that can't hack the woman who you have become. You can't be around those weak-minded people anymore, or people who are just living in a completely different universe mentally. Like I said, I think that we've all experienced this by now, and it's just about taking the things that they say with a pinch of salt, because they don't know what they're talking about. They only have one perspective, one view, one standpoint, which is where they are and where they've always been. You have two perspectives, where you used to be and where you are now. So you know more than they do. So at the end of the day, everything that they say should be like water off a duck's back, but you have to say to yourself, look, it's negative every time we get together. These people are disrespecting me. We don't like going to the same places. We really have nothing in common anymore. They're openly jealous about me, and it is just, why do I want to be around some jealous people? That's really unbecoming. So you have to accept that losing certain people is a positive thing for your own evolution. My last point is that you will find that not having these people around anymore, you have lots more free time, and you might even feel sometimes that there's a void there, and you might want to contact them or think, oh, you know, I wish I could tell them this, or I wish I could tell them that. I feel like it's the same when you kind of lose someone. You just have to learn to come to terms with the fact that it is over. Where it stands right now, the friendship is over. I feel like that's a positive space because it stops lots of other negativity, and the void that you feel not having them around anymore, you can fill with something else that is fulfilling to you. So maybe you take up, I don't know, some kind of class, or you start learning a language. Maybe you start reading more. You're doing something positive that you're taking those lemons and you're making the lemonade. So you're still in your glow up journey, and you're still becoming and being the woman who you want to be. And I feel like that's what it's about. Any friendship, any family members who are constantly, you know, you feel like you want constantly wanting to take you out of the new person, the new and improved version of yourself, are not good people to have around you. They're not supportive. So toxic friends, to the left, and your glow up, may it continue onwards and upwards. And that's what it's about. Remember, initially I kept on saying high standards only. That was a big thing I used to say, and I feel like it goes for your friendships as well. When you're evolving yourself, when you're on your glow up journey, or leveling up, you know, when you're doing that, you want to make sure that it's high standards only for every aspect of your life personally. And high standards only just means that you are doing what feels the best to you, what feels like you deserve. You don't deserve to be belittled, to be given, to be constantly to be constantly put down with somebody else's jealous comments. You don't deserve that rubbish. It's high standards only for your friendships, relationships, for your outfit choices, for your hair, for your makeup, for yourself in general, for how you treat yourself on the inside as well. Ladies, on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you here, and I really hope that this video has given you another perspective that you might not have thought of, that makes this separation from these people seem more positive, because it actually is positive. And it might seem negative at the moment, but I hope that with this video you're seeing that it is positive and you are going to lose people. It's just a normal part of this glow up journey, unfortunately. It's just something that's going to have to happen, honey. They're going to fall off by the wayside and you are going to keep on going. And they're going to keep on going as well, but they're just on their own trajectory. And that's even more confirmation and establishing yet again that you're better off where you are. Okay? So, on that note, bye ladies, and I'll see you in my next video, which will be part 2 to the story time. Comment below any experiences you've had in terms of losing family members or friends. Comment that below. It is beneficial and very helpful, I think, for other women. And if you don't want to share your story, then maybe put another piece of advice or something that I didn't mention in this video. That will also be helpful. So yes, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.